If your brain suddenly becomes the loudest it's been all day, the second you finally lay down at night, you are not crazy and you are definitely not the only one. Because isn't it just really kind of strange? You can go through an entire day distracted, busy, functioning, answering texts, working, taking care of everybody else. But the second the room gets quiet, your mind suddenly decides, now we need to think about everything. Everything. The awkward thing you said 3 years ago, your health, your future, money, your relationship, your kids, that weird symptom you noticed, what you should have done differently, what could go wrong tomorrow, you know the drill. And somehow your brain acts like 11:47 p.m. is the perfect time to solve your entire life. If this happens to you, stay with me here just for a few minutes tonight, because there's actually a reason this happens, and understanding it changes the way you fight it. Hi, I'm Lisa Tarves, and I help people make sense of what they're feeling so they can actually feel better. And one of the biggest things people tell me is, I'm exhausted, but my mind just won't stop. My mind won't stop. So let's talk about why this is happening to you. Because most people think nighttime overthinking means something is actually wrong with them. And that's not the case. Very often, it actually, what happens, it's what happens when your nervous system finally gets a moment to catch up with you. During the day, your brain is occupied, right? You're distracted by movement, by noise, by responsibilities, notifications, conversations, tasks, and schedules. Your mind stays externally focused then, but at night, everything slows down. And when external stimulation disappears, internal stimulation gets louder. That's why thoughts you didn't even notice during the day suddenly feel enormous at nighttime. Your brain finally has enough quiet to process what it's been carrying all day long. And for many people, nighttime is the only time they're alone with themselves emotionally. That's huge, especially if you're someone who spends your life holding it together for everyone else. A lot of people don't realize this, but exhaustion actually lowers emotional defenses too. So at night, your brain becomes more emotionally vulnerable. Things feel heavier, scarier, more permanent. That's why problems feel gigantic at 1 a.m. and strangely manageable again in the morning. Your nervous system literally processes fear differently at night. And another thing people don't realize, your brain hates unfinished emotional business. So if there are emotions you push down during the day, your mind often tries to process them when the world finally gets quiet. That's why people who are grieving, burned out, lonely, emotionally overwhelmed, or constantly on for other people often struggle the most at night. Their body may say, your body may finally be still, but their nervous system is certainly not. And here's something else that's important to know. A lot of nighttime overthinking isn't actually thinking. It's scanning. Your brain is searching for danger. What did I miss? What if something bad happens? What if I forget something? What if I can't handle tomorrow? That's anxiety. Anxiety is not just worry. It's a nervous system trying to protect you. The problem is it doesn't know the difference between between protecting you and exhausting you. So what do we do about it? I mean, fair question, right? What can we do? First, stop trying to violently force your mind to shut down. That usually makes things so much worse, because now you're anxious about being anxious, right? Now you're frustrated, watching the clock, panicking that you're not sleeping, and your nervous system interprets that frustration as another threat. So instead, try shifting from I need to stop thinking to my nervous system needs help feeling safe enough to rest. That changes everything, because now we stop fighting the brain and start calming the body. One of the best things you can do at night is something incredibly simple. Give your brain permission to stop solving problems temporarily. Not forever, just for tonight. Sometimes I literally tell people to say this to themselves, because I think this is perfect and all it needs to know. Nothing needs to be solved right now. Nothing. Not right now. That sentence sounds simple, but for overthinkers, it's powerful, because your brain believes staying mentally active equals staying safe. So you have to gently teach it, rest is safe too. Another thing that helps tremendously is getting thoughts out of your head before bed. Really easy, right? But it's not done perfectly. It's not beautifully done. It's just getting them out. Keep a notebook nearby, right? And before sleep, write down what you're worried about or what you need to remember tomorrow. What if your brain keeps circling around? Because sometimes your mind keeps repeating thoughts simply because it's afraid you'll forget something. You'll forget them. Writing them down signals we don't have to hold this in all night. Not anymore. I've written it down. Another really important thing, stop trying to win against your thoughts. You don't have to attend every thought that enters your mind. This is something anxious people struggle with deeply. They think, if I thought it, I have to solve it. No, you don't. A thought is not an emergency. And not every thought deserves your full emotional attention at midnight. Sometimes your brain is just overstimulated and tired. That's all. That's all it is. Another thing I recommend, especially for people whose minds are racing, the race physically, is grounding the body through the senses. Because racing thoughts live heavily in the head, right? In your head. Grounding brings you back into the body. So you can do things like putting one hand on your chest and one hand on your stomach and slowing your exhale, right? Feeling the weight of your blanket. Listening to steady rain sounds or white noise. Soft stretching, even gently naming 5 things you can physically feel. That helps interrupt the spiraling by reconnecting your nervous system to the present moment instead of imagined futures. And one thing I really want people to hear tonight, your nighttime thoughts are not always telling the truth. They're often telling the story fear creates in exhaustion. Everything feels more absolute at night, more catastrophic, more hopeless, more permanent. But nighttime emotions are often amplified emotions, not accurate predictions. And that matters because people make dangerous assumptions about themselves at night. They suddenly believe my whole life is falling apart. I'll never figure this out. I can't handle things anymore. When really they're emotionally depleted and overstimulated. There is a difference, big difference. And honestly, some people don't need more productivity advice, right? They need nervous system recovery. They need emotional decompression. They need moments during the day where they are not constantly consuming stress and stimulation. Because if your mind never gets space to process emotions during the day, it often forces processing at night. And that's why building small, calming rituals matter so much. Not because they magically fix anxiety, but because they teach the body predictability and safety. Even something as simple as the same blanket, same calming music, same tea, same lighting, same nighttime routine can slowly help train the nervous system that bedtime is not danger time. It's rest time. And if you've been struggling with this lately, I also want you to know something important. You are not weak because your mind gets loud at night. You are not weak. Usually it means you've been carrying too much for too long. And nighttime is simply when your inner world finally becomes audible. So tonight, instead of attacking yourself for everything and for overthinking and everything else, try approaching yourself with a little more understanding. Your mind is not trying to ruin your peace. It's really not. Very often, it's trying to protect a tired nervous system the only way it knows how. And healing starts when we stop treating ourselves like the enemy. If this helped you even a little, please subscribe to my channel. I share support like this every day for people dealing with overthinking, emotional exhaustion, anxiety, and the very human experience of trying to hold everything together. And by the way, because I know so many people struggle with this at night, I also created a guided sleep meditation for you to listen to at any time your mind won't slow down and you just can't fall asleep. So if you find yourself lying awake, overthinking, emotionally overwhelmed, or mentally exhausted at night, you can come back to that meditation anytime you need a little help calming your nervous system and drifting off to sleep. That'll be on YouTube. And if you're looking for more personal support, I also offer private Zoom sessions worldwide through my website. Until next time, stay open, stay inspired, and always remember you're doing better than you think you are.